Preparation is important when we know there's a possibility of something happening. It's good to be prepared and to get ready for it. I always thought that it would be interesting to experience a hurricane, and I never really did. So I always thought, well, it'd be kind of interesting to experience a hurricane. In September of 1988, I was going to Haiti to teach in a seminar. And when I was in the airport in Miami going down, I saw on the TV screens in the waiting area there in the gate area that there was a hurricane to the east of Haiti that could come across Haiti, but I didn't know that it would, and but I was aware that it was there and coming that way. So when I got to Haiti and I got out to Kajak, where I was staying, I was asking the people about the hurricane. Oh, no, no, it's not coming. It won't come here. It's not going to come here. And it's like, how do you know? Well, we're having a seminar here, and God won't let a hurricane come during our seminar. So, okay. So, but every day or so, I check with them, and they're like, no, no, it's not coming here. So we had the first day of the seminar, and I think we had the second day of the seminar, and the second day of the seminar, I was asking the people about the hurricane, and they said, "Well, they say it's coming, but it's not coming. It won't come here." And but about the seminar went until noon, and about the middle of the afternoon, it got really windy, and in the east, the sky was so dark. You could tell something was coming, and the wind was just blowing. The leaves on the palm trees were just horizontal. They were just going, pointing west. And so the hurricane was coming. Things were blowing around, and then people started running around saying, "Put everything away! Get ready! The hurricane's coming!" And so people started scrambling around and putting things away. And so the hurricane came, and it rained, and the wind blew. And if I remember right, the winds were about uh, 65 to 70 miles an hour. But the rain was so heavy. Um, it just poured down rain, and I was staying in a house, a concrete house with a tin roof, and I was sleeping on a little cot there, trying to sleep on a little cot there, but the rain was so heavy, it was just roaring. Like that rain was just falling on the roof. It was just roaring. It was hard to sleep. And the other thing that was troublesome that kept me from sleeping was that over the room in which I was sleeping, the tin would just flop. I could hear the tin flopping. And I knew that if the wind got stronger, that tin was going to take off and then we were going to get soaked. And there was no place to go. Wow, it rained all night. We got up in the morning and everything was flooded. There was just water standing on top of the ground where we were. It was kind of a level area, and there was 4 or 6 inches of water just standing everywhere on the ground. It was just pouring down rain. I could never remember exactly what it was, but we either had 18 inches of rain in 24 hours or 24 inches of rain in 18 hours. But anyway, it was a lot of water in a short time. Well, of course, the seminar was canceled, and I was going to fly out of Port-au-Prince back to Miami on uh, a Thursday. So Wednesday, we were going to finish the seminar Wednesday, and then Wednesday afternoon, we were going to drive back into the city, and then I was going to fly out on Thursday. So, uh, but we weren't sure if we could get back into the city. But one of the other missions called that was close, that was east of us, and they said the road is open from Port-au-Prince to just east of where we are. But then there's a big washout. But some vehicles are going through a banana grove and getting through it. So if you come soon, you'll be able to get through. But if you wait too long, it's going to get too tore up and vehicles are going to get stuck in there and you won't be able to get through. So we jumped in, we loaded up our stuff and decided to head for the city. We got to the spot where the big washout was, and there it was. It was 40, 50 feet across and 15 feet deep, and there was no way. The road was just washed away. But there was a banana grove that people were driving through. There was about a foot of just wet, sloppy mud in there, and you had to drive up beside the gully and then turn and go down through the ravine and then up the other side and then back to the highway. So Pernell Burkholder Jr. was driving, and so he said he thinks we can do it, but he said the danger is we don't want to slide down into that ravine before we get up to the point where he can turn and go down through it. So he had me and another man stand on the running boards on the upper side of the vehicle and hang on to the roof rack. And he drove up through there. He got off the road and splat. He hit the mud. The mud just flew everywhere. And he went churning up through there. And we got up far enough. And then he turned down and went down through the ravine, up the other side. And we got back on the highway. The ladies that had been in the vehicle, they had walked down through the ravine where the road was washed out and got back into the city. But as we get closer to the city, we talked to, I think, Robert Weaver, who was in the city at the time. And he said, I called the airport and for your flights. And the problem is the airport here was closed for 2 or 3 days because of the hurricane going through here. Excuse me. But now the hurricane is over close to Miami, so the Miami airport is closed. So he said the best I could do, I could rebook you, but I can't get you flights out until next Thursday or Friday. So it's like a week. But he said they said you can come in and try and go standby. So Thursday morning we went into the airport to see if we could go standby. There were 1,000 people. You couldn't even get inside the airport. There were just hundreds of people outside the airport. So there was no way to even get in to see. But uh, ticket agents were coming out talking to people. So this lady came out from American Airlines, and I told her, I don't want to wait till next week. Like, what can I do? And she said, well, like nothing's gonna happen today. Like but tomorrow you could come back in and you could go standby and you could keep trying to come every day and go standby. There must be another way. And so I think, who else flies out of here? And realized, oh, Air Canada flies out of here. So I called Air Canada and said, do you have any flights? Yeah, they said, we have a flight tomorrow on Friday. I said, is there room on it? And they said, yes, there is. I said, can I get on it? Yes. They said, you can get on it. It goes to Montreal. Well, if I can get to Montreal, I can get home from there. So I said, where's your office? They said, it's upstairs at the airport. Okay, I'll be up. So I went up to the office, and while I was sitting there waiting to talk to someone, I remembered that when I had purchased my ticket, I had talked to the travel agent, and then I waited a few days to make sure I had the dates right and stuff. And then when I called her back, booked the ticket, she said, hey, you know what? Now it's like $100 cheaper. And then, oh, great. And when she was getting ready to book it, she said, do you want travel insurance, travel cancellation insurance? And I was like, not usually, I don't, but how much is it? And I think it was $50 or something. Well, hey, I saved $100. Sure, I'll buy the travel insurance. So I did. And I remember I have that travel insurance. So I quickly got out my little booklet with the travel insurance, and it said in there that if your flight is canceled due to weather conditions, they will pay for a different flight. So, okay, hey, they're going to pay for this flight. So I booked the flight, and then I went back to Robert's house and I thought, I better call Edith because she should call the travel agent to make sure that, there isn't something like maybe I have to contact the insurance company before I book a ticket or I have to um, do something. I better make sure I've done what I need to do to get reimbursed for this ticket. So I called Edith. She called the travel agent. And then Edith called me back and said, the travel agent called the insurance company and they said they're not going to cover that ticket. So why? She said, because they don't pay for hurricanes. I'm like, okay. So I got my flight all the way back to Montreal. I'm thinking, why won't they pay it? I read that whole booklet on my flight back to Montreal, and nowhere did it say anything about hurricanes. It just said if your flights were canceled for weather conditions, they'll pay it. I was like, okay. So I got to Montreal. I stayed in Montreal overnight. The next morning, I went to the airport early. I was there way early. I was going to Winnipeg, and Edith was going to pick me up in Winnipeg. So uh, when I got ready to board the flight from Montreal to Winnipeg, when I got up to the ticket agent and gave him my boarding pass, he swiped my boarding pass and they said, "Oh, you stand over there." I was like, "Why?" And he said, "Well, just go stand over there." I was like, "I went on this flight." He said, "Yeah, well, it'll be okay. Just go stand over there." Well, I was kind of upset because I had been there way early and I really wanted on that flight after all I had been through to get there. So after a while, he sent a lady over, had her stand beside me. And she said, "Why are we standing here?" And I said, "I have no idea, but I better get on that flight." And she said, "Me too." So I was getting more and more nervous. And finally, I went back to the ticket agent and said, "Why are we standing over there? Why aren't you putting us on the flight?" He said, "Listen, you just do what you're told. I told you to stand over there. Just stand there, and I'm going to get you on the flight. And when you get on the flight, I want you to say thank you." "I will. If you put me on the flight, I will say thank you." In fact, I stood there. I told her, "I don't know why we're standing here. He won't tell me." So he boarded all the other passengers. Then he called us over and he said, "Our flight was overbooked, and we are putting you in first class." So I was like, "Oh, okay." So we got on the plane, and I said, "Thank you very much. I really appreciate that." And he said, "You're welcome." I got on the flight, went to Winnipeg. Well, when I got home, I thought, I need to find out why this insurance company won't pay for my flight. So I called them. The lady said, I explained the situation to her, and the lady said, "No, we don't pay for hurricanes." I said, "Well, listen, I have the booklet here that I got with my insurance policy. I got my ticket. It says on the cover, this is your contract. So that means it's a legal document. I have read this document from cover to cover. The word hurricane is not in this document. And on this page, it says if your flight is canceled due to weather conditions, this is what we will do." And she said, "Oh, sir, was your are you making a claim based on weather conditions?" And I said, "Yes, I am." She said, "Oh, we cover that. You can make that claim." So I did. And I told you they're going to find something, some way of not paying me. But about 4 weeks later, I got a check, and they paid my ticket, they paid my taxi in Montreal, they paid my hotel room in Montreal, they paid my phone calls back to Edith, my meals, everything. So it all worked out. But my point is, when I was laying in that house in Haiti, and the rain was coming down and the wind was blowing and the tin on the roof was flopping, it was not a time to go out and put more nails in the tin. It wasn't a time to go out and put a better foundation under the house. When the hurricane started, we had what we had. And it's good to plan and prepare on ahead of time so that you're ready when the storms come in life and you're ready to deal with them.